So, hello guys, welcome to our Instagram live, The Red Cognizance. I'm Anubhav Chaudhary, the event manager at Rutuchakra Vellore, and it is my honor to be your host for today. We at Rutuchakra have a vision of a world where every menstruator is able to menstruate in a dignified and hygienic manner. It is our mission to empower every menstruator with the knowledge about menstruation and get rid of any misconceptions that they have. Taking a first step forward towards this goal of ours, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our guest for the evening, Dr. Shalini Khanna. Um, Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
Anshika.
evening, ma'am. Yeah, good
Yeah.
evening,
Good
ma'am.
evening. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining in. Just I was saying before you came, I would like to give our viewers a short introduction about you. Yeah, yeah. So, Dr. Shalini Khanna is a renowned gynecologist, a senior IVF and a laparoscopic consultant with Max Hospitals, Delhi and NCR. She specializes in advanced laparoscopy and hysteroscopy. Her special area of interest are poor responder and recurrent implantation failure. Ma'am, would you like to say a few words to our viewers?
Yes. Thank you, Anubhav,
Yes, ma'am.
Anna,
Yes,
Alina,
ma'am.
for giving me this pleasure to join. It's
Yeah.
really a great honor and privilege to be here live on your Instagram, especially Sunday
Yes, ma'am.
evening. And today I will be talking about a very important social issue, that is menstruation. Menstruation is beginning of the period. It's a cyclical phenomenon. Therefore, we also call it as period. Is my voice echoing or is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. It's a little bit echoing. It's not clearly that audible. It can be heard, but it's kind of echoing.
So can I do anything from my end?
No, you can continue. I guess it's audible, but it's a little echoing at the moment.
Okay, yeah,
You can
because
come
most
closer to the phone if you're using. Yeah.
come closer.
Yeah, come closer to the phone or whatever device you're using so that the voice can reach better.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Is it better?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Now it's better. Yeah, it's better.
We would like to begin our session now. We had put up a story yesterday asking our viewers questions they had regarding menstruations and the misconceptions that they would like to ask you. So let's begin.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Madam.
yeah. So the first question was like, as a doctor, how would you explain menstruation to our viewers? But I guess you explained it perfectly in the previous one. But if you like to add something more, you can. Like, how would you explain menstruation to
Oh,
our viewers?
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's actually
yeah.
menstruation is the beginning of the menstruation is the cyclical flow, the cyclical
Hmm,
periods that we call it, where there is a shedding of the uterus lining, which we call it as the
yeah.
endometrium. So there
Hmm,
is apart from the blood, the lining separates.
yeah.
There is a little tissue, the sloughage, the
Hmm,
prostaglandins, all those they are
yeah.
released along with the blood.
Hmm,
So the
hmm.
normal menstruation, the cycle, the flow lasts usually for, the average we take it as 3 to 7 days or maybe up to 8 days. And the
Hmm.
normal flow is normally in a normal girl is around 35 milliliters, which is
Okay.
actually not much if we count in terms of the teaspoons or the this thing.
Okay.
If it
Hmm.
exceeds 80 milliliter of blood, then that
Hmm.
becomes an abnormal condition where we would
Hmm.
like the girl to be evaluated that why she
Hmm.
is bleeding so heavily. Though in
Hmm.
layman terms, we actually cannot measure, there is exactly no way to measure the amount of blood flow during the periods, because she
Hmm.
must be
Hmm. Hmm.
using either tampons or
Yeah.
pads, so which they
Yeah.
absorb the blood. So in general,
True.
the rough measures, we just take the calculations that the average blood flow in each cycle
Hmm.
is roughly 35 milliliters.
Hmm.
And
Hmm. Hmm.
the normal cycle length is usually 21 to 35 days. The
Hmm.
irregularities can
Yeah.
be, there can be short cycles where a girl bleeds repeatedly, maybe every 10 days, 15 days,
Okay.
or she
Hmm.
bleeds less frequently where the cycle
Hmm.
length increases to maybe even 40 days, 45 days,
Okay.
or
Hmm.
which is usually most commonly seen in the polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is very common these days
Yeah.
in everywhere in girls. And
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
polycystic ovarian syndrome Usually the pattern is the cycles get delayed to 2 months,
Yeah,
3 months,
true.
or at times,
Hmm.
these girls, they get periods only after taking a medicine. So
Hmm.
these are the common things that these abnormalities that a girl can get while she is menstruating.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
pain, as I said earlier, the other two common things that are very common, especially in the adolescent age group, is the pain during the menstruation. Now,
Yeah.
pain in a one sign, once we take the history of the patient or the girl when it comes to us, at times,
Hmm.
it's a good sign also, because it really signifies that a girl is ovulating. Girl is
Okay.
ovulating in the sense that she is forming
Hmm.
an egg, so which
Hmm.
indirectly suggests us that she might not have any problem during conception because she's
Hmm.
ovulating.
Hmm.
Why do these girls they get pain? Because once she's ovulating, the egg comes out of the ovary, the prostaglandin
True.
secretion is there in these girls,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
suggests that girl is ovulating. Yes,
Yeah.
but excessive pain is not good. Where we would like to evaluate the cause for the pain, why there is so much of excessive pain during periods. Now, there are different
Hmm.
reasons for it. We have to rule it
Hmm.
out.
Hmm.
That we can take it
Hmm.
maybe on the later questions. And
Hmm.
another common syndrome that I talked about is the premenstrual syndrome, where the girl
Yeah.
gets, pain, mood changes, the headache, tenderness in the breast,
True.
usually 5 to
Yeah.
10 days before the period. And the
Hmm.
symptoms, they get relieved once she gets the period.
Yeah.
So these are the few common symptoms and the
Hmm.
irregularities associated with the
Hmm.
menstruation. And we can
Hmm.
take up further questions about different topics related to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you explained it like really well. I guess it answered a second question also. Like a second question was, is pain during period normal or like does it indicate any medical problem?
Okay. Yeah. So pain, as
Yeah.
I said, it can be, we really, in the thing back of our mind, we are one point we say, ki,
Yeah.
okay, it's a good thing that a girl is getting pain during
Hmm.
periods. It suggests that she's
Hmm.
ovulating. But if she
Yeah.
gets a less of pain, then we
Hmm.
have to rule out and investigate that why she is getting such excess of pain. There could be
Okay.
other pathological conditions which can lead to the pain, like there could be
Hmm.
any infection, any severe infection which has led to PID. PID is pelvic
Okay.
inflammatory disease, where
Okay.
there's infection of the reproductive organs. And
Hmm.
then either it could be endometriosis or it could be
Okay.
adenomyosis. Now, these are the
Hmm.
conditions, I mean, which probably would be beyond the scope of this session today live to explain about these
Hmm.
different terminologies.
Yeah.
But those are the girls who
Yeah.
suffer pain. They probably would know that at one point of their time, the doctor must have mentioned to them about to rule out these conditions like
Hmm.
endometriosis and
Hmm.
adenomyosis, because these are the pathological conditions, which can lead
Hmm.
to the
Right.
pain, and even
Yeah.
fibroids at some time. So once
Hmm.
we rule out, then probably we can assure a girl that it is usually a physiological process. And this
Yeah.
pain, either gradually it decreases down with her progressive menstruation, or once she gets
Hmm.
married, or once she bears a child, then this
Hmm.
dysmenorrhea, it gradually, decreases down during her lifetime.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, I really learned a lot from this also. So the next question is kind of personal because I've seen it happening around me. Like I have female friends who are part of two ends of a broad spectrum. Like on one end, there are my friends who will take crocin, ibuprofen, or like cycloplam and other such painkillers to elevate themselves from the pain they're experiencing from menstrual cramps. On the other side of the
Right.
spectrum, there are my friends who will not touch these painkillers at all. Like they would like suffer through that pain. Like they would take a hot bath as a like a hot water remedy. Like it relaxes the muscles of the uterus and it increases the blood flow and it eases the pain.
Hmm.
Like they would not touch the
Hmm.
painkillers at all. So coming to
Hmm.
this, like is like does taking medicine for period pain affect the menstruator's reproductive health in any way?
Okay, that's a very good question, Anubhav, because we also get lot many
Yeah,
girls in our clinics who answer these questions.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it depends upon the intensity of the pain that a girl is getting. Now, to
Okay.
begin with, if she depends, it all depends upon what is the tolerability limit of a girl to tolerate the pain.
True.
If she can tolerate it with a hot water bottle, it's fine. But
Hmm.
the mechanism of the pain in these girls is that there are release of prostaglandins. Now, the
Okay.
crocin, Voveron,
Hmm.
Brufen. Now, what do these
Hmm.
tablets do? These tablets, they inhibit these prostaglandins. These are
Hmm.
non-steroid anti-inflammatory agents.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
these are absolutely safe medicines to take during the periods. They can be taken to allay the symptoms, the painful periods that a girl is getting. Even one or
Hmm.
two tablets a day a girl can take. I've seen girls
Hmm.
taking almost three tablets because the pain is so severe and there is no
Okay.
cause in those girls. So,
Hmm.
because the girl is taking only for 3 days, or maybe just the one day or the 2 day that the pain would be so severe that she cannot tolerate it.
Hmm.
At times, I've seen
Hmm.
girls missing either their school or their workplace because
Yeah.
they cannot, they're just tossle in the bed to allay the pain
Hmm.
associated with the periods. So, I do recommend my patients to take these because
Okay.
these are the safest medicines. Crocin
Hmm.
Advance,
Hmm.
that which is the 650 milligram,
Hmm.
is the
Hmm.
safest medicine to
Yeah.
take. The
Hmm.
Brufen, the Combiflam, all these medicines, they are safe and they do not hamper your reproductive function. So, it's a
Okay.
myth which needs to be via this message, via this session, social media. We need to
Hmm.
allay the anxiety of these young girls that these painkillers, they do not harm your reproductive system. But yes,
Okay.
if the
Yeah.
pain is so much, just do
Hmm.
not start taking blindly. You need to
Okay.
visit a gynecologist to evaluate that there is no uh, pathological cause. Once it is ruled
Hmm.
out, then you can take these painkillers.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Like, I would like our viewers to like take note of this. Like, it's a very important question, and yeah, you have answered it wonderfully. So, I would like our viewers to take note of this question and answer. Yeah. So, coming to the next question, is there any link between menstruation and acne?
Menstruation and acne.
Yeah.
Yes, see, acne normally occurs in the young adolescent age group, and
Hmm.
it is an hormonal imbalance. The
Yeah.
acne, the most common cause in the young adolescent age group, I will attribute it to the polycystic ovaries because we see
Yeah.
so many girls in our clinics, and
Hmm.
acne is because of the hormonal imbalance. Like either
Hmm.
there could be excess of the LH hormone or there could be excess of the male hormones like the
Yeah.
testosterone. So
Hmm.
all these hormonal imbalances, it can lead to
Hmm.
acne in young girls. And
Hmm.
the treatment for that would be like to begin with, they can just maintain the hygiene, the facial hygiene. They
Hmm.
wash their face
Hmm.
repeatedly. Few girls,
Hmm.
they have very oily skin, so in that they need
Yeah.
to maintain hygiene of the face and wash their face. Then use certain creams are available, which probably I would suggest to have discussed with the doctor and then take it, because blindly
Hmm. Hmm.
no
Hmm.
medicine can be advised and it cannot be taken as a
Yeah.
mass this thing that people start
Hmm.
taking those medicines.
Hmm.
So acne can be related to this menstruation, and which is more common especially in the young and adolescent age group.
Okay. So it can be prevented by itself, or like you have to go to a doctor and take advice about it.
Uh, yeah, Abhinav, it all depends upon the severity. The
Okay.
girls who come initially, they've just started. We normally, advise them to wash their face
Hmm.
frequently, clean. There
Hmm.
should not be any dirt on the face.
Hmm.
And these ordinary creams like Lotion, and all those, even those
Okay. Yeah.
desi nuskhas, the face masks and
Hmm.
the, that old tried testes by the Dadi Nani, that Multani Mitti and all
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
really, yeah, that and the face masks, they really work wonders for the acne.
Hmm.
But in
Hmm.
case it is severe and it is not going with all these things, then probably it's a time to seek the advice of a gynecologist. And gynecologists, we usually work hand in hand with the dermatologist to reduce
Hmm.
the symptoms of the acne with all best possible means by giving least of the drugs and
Hmm.
we work both hand in hand.
Okay.
There could be
Thank you,
medicines
ma'am.
like,
Hmm.
either we give the contraceptive pills to reduce the acne,
Yeah.
or there are creams
Hmm.
which we ask
Hmm.
before giving these oral contraceptive pills to allay
Hmm.
acne.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. So, following the next question, it's kind of personal because I've experienced it myself. So, like, I'm talking to a female friend of mine, and like, we're having a normal
Hmm.
conversation. And suddenly, a few moments later, she shouts at me for no reason. Like, I stop, I like reflect upon what I said, and I realized that I didn't say anything offensive that could have offended her so much that she had shouted. So, the immediate question that comes to my mind is she experiencing mood swings? Is she on a period? So, like, generally, PMS is used as an excuse to justify a woman's emotional behavior. Is it correct? Like, is
Right.
it true?
Right. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
PMS, yeah, it's actually a myriad of symptoms in PMS. You know,
yeah,
to
yeah,
categorize that a girl is having a premenstrual syndrome, that we call it
yeah.
as the PMS, it is very common.
Hmm, hmm,
In
hmm,
fact, while I
hmm.
was reviewing how common is the PMS, the literature says, I mean, even as high as 20% of the girls, they do get PMS, and out of
Okay,
that 3 to 5% will get severe PMS. Now, PMS
okay.
has basically got two sets of symptom presentations. One can be
Hmm,
somatic and one can be the physical symptoms. Now, the physical symptoms, it can be like there could be bloating of the abdomen or the legs or the hands and the thighs. There could be bloating in general of the stomach, or there could be, headaches, dizziness, or the most common symptom that we see in our gynecological practice is mastalgia, which is the tenderness in the breast.
hmm,
So that is a very
hmm,
common symptom. Now, coming to the mood
hmm.
changes, the girl would cry for no reason. She would be depressed.
True.
She would be,
Hmm.
angry. She would be
Yeah,
irritable, which you probably experienced. Now,
yeah.
all this, they fall in the, and all this are just the category or the symptoms of the premenstrual syndrome. It's a broad
Hmm,
spectrum of symptoms. And to categorize a girl with a premenstrual syndrome, it is a very categorically and a characteristic feature that the symptoms, they reduce and they become almost nil once she gets her period. So there will
hmm,
definitely be a pain-free interval or this mood swings-free interval. You would find half of the cycles you would be perfectly normal, jolly, and in a cheerful mood. But
hmm, 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 hmm.
maybe during just 5 or 6 days before the period, or even we see girls where the premenstrual syndrome starts even 10 days before the periods, and it gets okay once the girl gets the periods. So rest
Yeah,
half of the cycle, she is absolutely normal. So that's how we make our
okay.
diagnosis and tell that she has premenstrual syndrome. Otherwise,
Hmm,
because of the work pressure, because of the environment, because of the so many things these days, we generally cannot take these mood changes, irritability, anger to be very
hmm,
lightly. Maybe, she is
hmm.
really having some psychological or issue and we just label it as
True.
the premenstrual syndrome. So we
Hmm,
have to evaluate it very carefully. In fact,
hmm,
to label a girl with the premenstrual syndrome, we label that these kind of symptoms, they should start, like suppose in a girl, it starts 1 week before the period. So if it
hmm,
happens consecutively over 2 to 3 cycles
hmm.
with an interval free period of symptoms, then we label that girl that she is having premenstrual syndrome, and along with
Okay.
that a detailed history that she is not having any depression before or any psychosomatic or any psychological
Hmm,
disorder before.
hmm,
So if
hmm,
all those things are ruled out and she presents history
hmm.
like this, we label a girl as having a premenstrual syndrome.
Menstrual. Okay. So, ma'am, considering like today's world and the situation that we live in, is there any way to prevent
Yeah.
this PMS, or like is it like 90% of the girls will have PMS?
Okay. Now, see, premenstrual syndrome, basically, it's the theories have been changing with its
Hmm,
evolution. Like, there are the other theories initially which were proposed, now they are refuted. Now, the latest theory says that it is actually not an hormonal imbalance. Every
Okay.
girl there are hormone production, especially the gonadal hormones like the estrogens,
Hmm.
the progesterones.
Hmm.
Along with
Hmm.
that, other endocrine hormones are there like thyroid, melatonin,
Hmm.
serotonin.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
the question is why few girls are more prone to for the PMS, the
Yeah.
other 80% of the girls don't get it. The other
Yeah.
80% of the girls, they don't get it because they are not sensitive to the secretions of these hormones. The rest
Okay.
20% of the girls, they are more
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
sensitive to the changes in the hormones, the estrogens,
Hmm.
the progesterones. And you know what
Hmm.
happens why the mood changes? These hormones, the
Yeah.
estrogens and the progesterones,
Hmm.
they can cross the blood-brain barrier also. And there are
Okay.
neurological and the biochemical secretions in the brain like
Yeah.
serotonin. Now
Hmm.
serotonin works especially, it is a mood elevator. It helps
Hmm.
in your
Hmm.
appetite. It helps in your sleep
True.
also. So it's a very
Hmm.
important neurochemical substance.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Now, when these
True.
hormones, they penetrate the blood-brain barrier and they somehow, disrupt the mechanism of the serotonin uptakes by the various organs in the brain, which are responsible
Hmm.
for the mood alterations like hypothalamus and
Hmm.
amygdala. These are the two
Hmm.
main organs in the brain uh, which are
Hmm.
responsible for the mood changes. So these hormones,
Hmm.
they work with these neurochemical substances, serotonin.
Hmm.
There is another amino acid, gabapentin, that is gamma
Hmm. Okay.
aminobutyric acid. So these two basically chemicals are related, which functions along with these hormonal changes or the increased
Hmm.
receptivity to these hormones. So when there is
Okay.
an imbalance or decrease in the serotonin uptake by
Hmm.
the few parts of the brain, that it leads to these menstrual changes, the sadness
Hmm.
part and the angry and the depressive part of it.
Hmm.
So that's how it is.
Okay.
Now, coming to the
Hmm.
treatment of the premenstrual syndrome,
Yeah.
it is very, very important to counsel these girls. If it is a
Hmm.
very mild, where she realizes that few girls are very intelligent, they themselves will come and tell us, Doctor, I get these symptoms before the start of the period, and my symptoms subside down when I get the period. So first
True.
of all, we ask them to maintain a calendar of these symptoms, how severe
Hmm.
they are, and which day of the period it starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, sadness,
Yeah. Hmm.
irritability, breast tenderness,
Hmm.
massalgia, headache.
Hmm.
So all
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
symptoms, we ask them to maintain a diary. We
Hmm.
give them reassurance with gradual passage of time, these
Hmm.
symptoms might subside down later. So a
Okay.
counseling, a reassurance is very, very important. The counseling
Hmm.
and
True.
reassurance is not important, and we just don't do the counseling and reassurance only to the girl. The family members,
Hmm.
the friends also need to understand that she is not shouting just because of that. Maybe she has no reason, but it is the hormonal changes that she is more
Hmm.
receptive to, which is beyond her control. It's not under
True.
her control that she starts
Hmm.
shouting
Hmm. Hmm.
during
Hmm.
this. And we need
Hmm.
to explain it to them. And to begin with, there are simple drugs like if there are, these bloating, tenderness, we ask them to take a good, healthy, nutritious diet also. She can
Hmm.
take a lot of fruits because these fruits, they do contain a lot of antioxidants which
Hmm.
really helps in preventing these kind of symptoms. All kind of fruits,
Okay.
they are very good. And
Hmm. Hmm.
she
Hmm.
can take fruits, she can take antioxidants, and then she can take painkillers if she is having pain.
Hmm.
And if the
Hmm.
premenstrual syndrome is very, very severe, now there are two options. Either we assess, like if she has basically mood swings, then
Okay.
there are drugs, these are mood elevators, which are safe
Okay.
during these days.
Hmm.
We can give them before giving these, coming to these kind of drugs, we give them like there are Ayurvedic medicines also, herbal products
Hmm.
also. Cremosa is
Hmm.
one. We give them vitamins, vitamin supplementation, vitamin E specifically works, calcium works, vitamin D works.
Hmm.
So we try
Hmm.
giving these supplements before we jump on to the another chemical medicines. So
Okay.
if she doesn't respond to all these treatment, then the treatment option that either we give her the oral contraceptive pills. These oral contraceptive pills, what they do is they do not cause ovulation. So if there is no ovulation, the secretion of the hormones like progesterone and even the estrogen, it goes down. So these girls, they very well respond to these oral contraceptive pills. And for the mood elevators, we can give, there are drugs which we can give mood elevators, definitely in consultation with the doctor, not offline drugs. And you especially have to consult, and because we need to decide what dose, when to give. It is not, these mood elevators, they are not to be given during the entire cycle. They can be given for a short period of time. And if it doesn't get controlled with this, then there is a step-by-step treatment for that. We further move on to the maybe the injections, which suppresses all the hormones of the gonads like estrogen, FSH, LH, estrogen, progesterone, all come down to a zero and a basal level. But before going on to this, we move in a very strategic fashion. We start with one drug, no response. Then it's like a step ladder pattern we follow. And then we assess each patient is individual. We tailor-made our protocols that what will work best for what patient. But at all these steps, lifestyle modification and the assurance, the counseling becomes very necessary at every step.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So regarding this only, one of our viewers asked a question like, what's the difference between PCOS and PCOD? One of our viewers
Okay.
just
See,
asked
these
that.
were the, Polycystic ovarian disease is the PCOD and PCOS is the polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now, polycystic ovarian syndrome, basically, to categorize a girl as a polycystic ovarian syndrome, it involves not only the menstrual irregularities, but later on, a polycystic girl may have some metabolic disorders later on in her life, like there is a high incidence of diabetes in these girls. There is a high incidence of cardiovascular diseases, lipid abnormalities, like either the cholesterol could be high or the HDL could be low or the LDL could be high. So all these women, they are slightly at a higher risk of this metabolic syndrome. So when this is associated with that, all this syndrome, we called it as a polycystic ovarian syndrome. And polycystic ovarian disease, we just generally label when a girl has irregular cycles, acne, or hirsutism. So syndrome is a broader spectrum, is a broader terminology which covers all the entire thing. That is the difference actually. For a girl to be categorized as polycystic ovary or polycystic PCOS, normally we call it as the girl either should have delayed cycles, she gets periods every 2 to 3 months, or there is acne, or there is hirsutism, or if we get the blood test done, there would be high levels of testosterone in her, or the imbalance of the hormones, that is the FSH and the LH. When the LH secretion is high, that usually leads to the polycystic ovary. So that is the difference actually.
Okay.
But
So,
then,
like,
though the viewer, just Anubhav, though you haven't asked me this question, via this social media, I will take this opportunity to, clear it for my viewers, because when I see so many patients, so many young girls with the polycystic ovaries, they are so panicky, they are full of anxiety. Okay, doctor, I have, polycystic. So what will happen? And the another myth, how can it go? So polycystic ovaries, once it is there, it is there. It will not go. And it is nothing to worry. You can easily, we have to find a ways to, that how can we curtail the symptoms and protect ourselves from all these pathologies which might later on occur. So it is a controllable, I will not call it as a disease. It is just a variant of the another pathology, the ovaries. So if you maintain a good, healthy lifestyle, do lifestyle modification is just the bottom line for treating the women with the polycystic ovaries. So the very first time the girls comes to us, we do not start writing prescriptions and give them the medical treatment. The first and the foremost important thing is the lifestyle modification for these girls. Do regular, I do not want you to join gym, but then do regular exercises, even a brisk walk of 30 minutes a day, or even in fact 30 minutes thrice a day is sufficient. So just do exercise plays a very, very important role in polycystic ovaries. In fact, it is obese because polycystic, it has two spectrums. Either it is seen in obese women or it is seen in the young thin lean PCOS. If it is seen in the obese women, we ask them to reduce their weight, first of all, by lifestyle modification, then diet modifications. Somehow the pathology is related to the insulin resistance, which leads to the obesity and sugars and diabetes later on. So we tell them as soon as they approach us, cut down their sugars. They don't have to take sugars, cut down their junk food. So polycystic is not something to be scared of it. Please relax. There, if you do these lifestyle modifications, very well you can, have not those symptoms later on which you are scared of it. Because Google knowledge, it scares you actually. Because we all have a tendency to go for the main side effects. So when these girls, they read a lot about it, they really get scared. So do not panic, do not worry, do lifestyle modifications to help you allay the symptoms of polycystic
Thank you, ma'am.
ovaries.
Yeah, I was gonna just ask you that, like, as of now, I guess there is no cure for PCOD. Like, how would one, cope up with it? You answered it perfectly just now. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, the next question is like, how frequently do you suggest sanitary napkins must be changed? I know it's a very basic question, but it's very important to be, discussed.
Yes, Anubhav, you're
Yes,
absolutely
ma'am.
right. See, we are
Yes,
on
ma'am.
the social media where we are probably, dealing with the girls who are educated. But if you go to the periphery of the India and if you go to the villages, the girls, they have so many taboos about the menstruation. They have so many myths about it. There is no sexual guidance given to them. There is no clarity on all these basic things. So I would clear that the menstruation, either whatever the girl, either she is using tampons or she is using sanitary pads, it has to be changed frequently. Though it depends upon the amount of flow that a girl gets, but then a minimum of 3 to 4 changes should be there. Like once she gets up in the morning, she changes a fresh pad, then afternoon, evening, and then while at the bedtime. But however, if a girl gets a heavy bleeding, then probably it might require to change even after 3 or 4 hours. Why it is important to change the pads frequently? Because the
Yeah.
menstrual blood, it is a very good and a culture-rich media. It provides nutrition to the organisms, to the microorganisms. And vagina itself has a rich number of microflora and the microorganisms. So if kept for a very prolonged time, if the blood is there, a girl is not changing her pad, then this blood gives a very rich and a nutritious support for these organisms to grow. And then a girl can get infection, which we in the initial might be not so severe, but if it gets severe, we call it as a pelvic inflammatory disease, where later on it ascends up and destroys or causes problems, or destroys the fallopian tubes, or there is a dysfunction of the fallopian tubes of the ovaries. So it is very important to maintain hygiene by changing frequent pads.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, coming to the next question, like, most of the menstruators might know the difference, but for people like us who are non-menstruators, like, we generally can't differentiate between a tampon and a pad. So, like, are they the same or like are they
Okay.
different? Yeah.
No, tampons are definitely different, and the
Okay.
sanitary pads are definitely different. Now, these
Okay.
sanitary pads, these are the rectangular, small, these are rectangular pieces, maybe 8 to 10 centimeter long. They are worn externally, right? And
Okay.
whereas
Okay.
a tampon, Yeah, whereas the tampons, these are very small rectangular, these rectangular, and they have a thread attached to it. A
Hmm.
tampon, a girl inserts it inside vaginally. There is nothing
Okay.
outside. So with
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
string attached to it, she just pushes it in the vagina so that whatever the
Okay.
menstrual blood is coming out from the uterine cavity, it gets absorbed there in the vagina itself.
So,
Yeah.
tampons is which is worn inside, right? The menstrual
Hmm.
blood
Yeah.
doesn't come out. These are the
Hmm.
absorbent material which
Hmm.
absorbs all the menstrual blood. And
Hmm.
as with the sanitary pads, the tampons are also to be removed every 6 hours, preferably, or earlier if the bleeding is heavy.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
advantages with the tampons, which is not there with the sanitary napkins, the tampons they are mostly preferred by either by the athletes or once you want to
Hmm.
go for a swimming. So those
Hmm.
are the people, or especially in conjunction you want to wear where there's a very severe
Hmm. Hmm.
excessive flow a girl gets. Then she can wear either tampon, and to be take extra precautions she can wear a
Hmm.
pad
Hmm. Hmm.
also. So those are
Hmm.
the conditions where tampons are preferred. And especially once
Yeah.
you're going out, because it is so handy that it comes in a like in your purse in a very small this thing. You
Hmm.
don't have to carry a pad like some girls do not like
Hmm.
carrying it in their
Hmm. Hmm.
purses.
Hmm. Hmm.
So tampons are
Yeah.
very, very small. Now,
Hmm.
these days, the tampons are, the menstrual cups are available now. Now,
Hmm.
menstrual cups,
Yeah.
it is just like a cylinder, which has just a stem at
Okay.
its base. Uh, though it
Hmm.
needs a little technique, the menstrual cup to be inserted. But if a girl learns the technique to insert the menstrual cup, trust me,
Hmm.
these days girls are really preferring that. Why? Because
Okay.
once it is a reusable cup, and you can, once you can wash it and reuse it again.
Hmm.
Whatever the menstrual blood is collected, you
Hmm.
throw it in your dust in
Hmm.
the dustbin or in the wash basin and in the sink, wash it.
True.
And
Yeah.
once you're done with
Yeah.
the periods, then you can reuse it, then safely preserve it.
Hmm.
But then, yes, definitely
Hmm.
hygiene needs to be maintained with the menstrual cups, because this is
Yeah.
a plastic this thing. So every time you use it, you need to, once you're
Hmm.
over with your cycle, you need to wash it with the soap and then clean it. Similarly, like with the
Okay.
tampons, there are the advantages of the menstrual cup also, which,
Hmm.
like the athletes, the swimmers, you can use there in those conditions, because again, it is also
Hmm.
an internal device. Uh, you are not
Hmm.
wearing anything outside, and especially for the
Hmm. Hmm.
married
Hmm.
women
Hmm.
also, the another plus point of using the menstrual cup is that they can be physically active and can have relations with her husband even with the menstrual
Okay.
cup. So
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
days, not many girls are preferring the menstrual cup. But at
Okay.
times, I have seen patients coming to me. There are little problems in taking it out. So the only disadvantage is that you really need to learn the technique how to put it inside.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because once
Hmm.
you put it correctly, it creates a vacuum there, so that the
Hmm.
entire blood comes in that cup and it gets collected in that
Hmm.
cup. So for taking out
Hmm.
also, there is a technique how to take that out.
Hmm.
So once you learn that
Yeah.
technique, it is a very safe, menstrual cup is very safe.
Hmm.
Moreover, what happens, this menstrual cup, it is very eco-friendly also, because you're not using any plastic like these sanitary pads, which are plastic. You're not throwing
Hmm. Hmm.
so
Hmm.
much of plastic into the environment. You are reusing it. It is eco-friendly.
Hmm.
Another, and
Yeah.
the menstrual cup. Another important thing is, like, it does not alter the pH of the vagina. So
Okay.
the no risk of infection, like, though it is a very, very rare thing, contrary with the tampons, a toxic
Hmm.
shock syndrome is there, which,
Okay.
especially if you have used tampons for a very, very long time, if the
Hmm.
blood flow is very excessive, it acts as a rich
Hmm.
nutrient media for certain bacteria to grow, which releases certain toxins and they come in the blood. Though it's a very rare syndrome, I would say it just occurs in just 0.8% of 1 lakh women if we take it. But then
Okay.
Yeah, but then it is a very serious condition which we do not
Hmm,
want it to
hmm, hmm,
happen. So for that, I mean, I
hmm.
don't want the viewers to get this that tampons are not safe. No, do not get this
Yeah,
message. It is absolutely
yeah.
safe. The only thing is that they need to be changed frequently. And the only difference
Hmm,
and the only advantage with the menstrual cup is that they do not change the pH of the vaginal flora.
hmm, hmm,
And
hmm, hmm.
moreover, this thing, the what happens is because you're using tampons, it's absorbing all the secretions. So at times it leads to vaginal dryness, which few people complain
Yeah,
of. All these things
yeah.
are not there with the menstrual cup. So
Hmm.
it's a perfectly
Okay.
individual and a patient's choice which method she wants to
Hmm,
use it. Either she's more
hmm,
comfortable with the pads or with the
hmm.
tampons or with the menstrual cup.
Okay. So like you said, every cycle has its advantages and disadvantages. So like what would you suggest our viewers out of tampons, pad and menstrual cups? Like which is the best out of these three? Is there any best or like is it suitable for each user that is using?
Anubhav, I think I already gave this answer. It is an individual choice what patient is
Okay,
comfortable
okay,
in, right? Few
okay.
patients
Hmm.
might find it, technically difficult to insert a menstrual cup, or might find it
Yeah, true.
difficult to take it out, or little messy because at times the blood may smear
Hmm.
on your fingers or something. They might not like it.
Hmm.
So they
Hmm.
might not like to use a menstrual cup, especially
Hmm.
to keep and safe at the menstrual cup. You have to use, I mean, save it and conserve it at a place where you do not get it does not get infected. So you need to have good
Okay.
place for that also. And some people are comfortable with tampons, and some people are comfortable with the sanitary pads. So it's like kind of
Hmm.
all the choices are available. What patient feels comfortable,
Hmm.
patient chooses according to that.
Okay.
But these days,
Hmm.
the use of menstrual cups is really coming up in a big way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So the coming to the next question, it is usually said that excessive stress causes delay in the menstrual cycle. Is this true?
Anubhav, stress in the sense causes delay or menstrual irregularities. To
Hmm.
some extent, I would say it is true. Because what
Hmm.
happens with the stress, there are a lot of biochemical substances which are released, like catecholamines, the
Hmm.
serotonins, the stress pathway
Hmm.
in the neurotransmitters for the stress.
Hmm.
Somehow
Hmm. Hmm.
they cause imbalance in the hormonal regulation, and it might cause irregularity if a girl is really stressed, especially at the workplace, maybe the work
Hmm. Hmm.
pressure,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
performance pressure,
Hmm.
or she's at school,
Hmm.
the excessive academic
Hmm.
pressure that she has. But
Hmm.
eventually, at the end, whatever the literature and the data is exactly not very convincing on that. So before we jump and conclude and say, ki, oh, stress is a very big factor for all these menstrual irregularity, I still
Hmm.
would
Hmm.
not
Hmm. Hmm.
call it is with such concrete evidence. But yes, as far as
Okay.
possible, we advise girls not to be stressed out and stay calm. And we do try to rule out, I mean, it is not that a girl is coming to us, she says, I have so much of work pressure that my cycles are irregular, and we just blame it to the stress level. We really
Hmm.
have to
Hmm. Hmm.
rule it
Hmm.
out that what is the cause for the irregularity, what is the cause for the delay, and or what is the cause for the premenstrual syndrome that a girl is getting. So it is a
Hmm.
multidisciplinary approach before we jump to a
Okay.
conclusion that stress is causing the delay.
Hmm.
You have
Hmm.
to rule out
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
other causes also. It can be one of the
Okay.
factors, but not always
Hmm.
the entire factor.
Okay. Yeah. So coming to the next question, like how do you suggest one can practice menstrual hygiene?
Okay, menstrual hygiene, as soon as
Yeah.
a girl starts period, the menstrual hygiene is to be followed.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, for menstrual
Hmm.
hygiene, as I said, that she has to change the pads frequently. Because
Yeah.
if she doesn't change the pads frequently, she's at a higher risk of getting the infections. These can
Hmm.
be urinary infections, or these can be these vaginal infections, which
True.
initially it can be mild, but then you never know, it can precipitate in few girls, and it might lead to the eventually the sexually transmitted
Hmm. Hmm.
diseases also, or the pelvic inflammatory disease. And they might
Hmm.
damage your uterus, they might damage your tubes, and you might
Hmm.
damage your ovaries, especially in an India
Hmm.
where tuberculosis is very rampant. So all
Yeah.
these
True.
organisms, once you're not maintaining the hygiene, these organisms, they get rich nutritious media and they flourish.
Hmm.
And
Hmm. Hmm.
these organisms, they just grow. So it is very, very
Hmm.
essential to maintain the menstrual hygiene.
Hmm.
Every time you're going
Hmm.
to the washroom, use
Hmm.
copious water to wash your
Hmm.
organs there, and you have to wash them properly every time. Take bath. It
Hmm.
is not that a girl is menstruating, she doesn't has to take bath. No, it is absolutely not.
Yeah.
In fact, on the contrary, we
Okay.
advise
Hmm.
the girls to wash their parts very frequently so that no bacteria,
Hmm.
no organisms, they get deposited there. So it
Hmm.
is very, very important to maintain menstrual hygiene. Girls in
Hmm.
the rural area, we are talking all about the urban areas where they have the facilities, where they can afford the sanitary pads, the tampons,
True.
and the menstrual cups. But go to the periphery of the
Hmm.
India, go to the developing countries, the African, Uganda, Ethiopia. Girls do use these cloth material also. Now, if they're not
Hmm.
using the cloth material, if they're not washing it properly, this cloth material,
Hmm.
it can be a very this thing, it can lead to very high incidence of infections in a girl. So especially with the
Hmm.
cloth, I would say that it has to be washed with a soap. It has to be preserved in a
Okay.
home at a place where there are less chances of infection. And very
Hmm.
precautions, so many precautions are to be taken
Hmm.
while the girl is using a cloth.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
has to be very, very hygiene, I mean,
Hmm.
the hygiene has to be maintained. And
Hmm.
lot many, I do see patients in my practice, that lot many girls come with these days, there are so many washes available. Uh, the V
Hmm.
wash, lactic acid wash, which these girls are using. So my note on that would be, I generally do not advocate so much rampant use of these washes,
Okay.
because
Hmm.
along with these washes, what they do is they normally destroy the good and the healthy bacteria of the vaginal flora
Hmm.
that we have. So,
Yeah.
apart from destroying the pathological and the bad bacteria, they do destroy the good bacteria also.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
maybe once a girl is traveling, you're using, public
Yeah.
toilets, you're traveling in a
Hmm.
train or using public toilets. There are those things where you still can use these V washes, P safe, or all these,
Hmm.
but do not
True.
make it as a routine to use these,
Okay.
because at
Hmm.
the end of the day, they might cause more harm than being useful.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah.
So coming to the last question asked by one of our viewers, like,
Yeah.
can you please tell any remedies for vaginal yeast infection?
Without examining, it is difficult to guide like this the
Hmm.
yeast infection. First of all, we need to be sure
Hmm.
that it is a yeast infection. The doctor
Okay.
needs to see you, examine you, and there is the what
Hmm.
is the typical, like, is it exactly a yeast infection? I totally agree
Hmm.
that yeast infection can be recurrent, but I think,
Hmm.
and I would suggest, there are remedies. It can be cured, though chances are there it can reoccur, but then we can reduce the incidences and cure it also. So would suggest
Okay.
you to visit your gynecologist and
Hmm.
have yourself examined. And then there are medicines, creams, and various medicines which it can be cured with that.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much, ma'am, for like devoting your time with us and gracing our event. I'm certain that our viewers have learned a lot and have got all the doubts clarified. At least I have. It was like very informative for me. And like I'm really grateful to have met and discussed the questions and events with you. So like a big thank you to you, ma'am.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Thank you, this
yeah,
thing, Aisha, and
yeah, yeah.
this
Thank you, ma'am.
Sanjana also, and the entire team of Rutu Chakra. You're doing
Yes,
a
ma'am.
wonderful job, and I hope many will be benefited by your this non-government organization,
Definitely, ma'am.
non-profitable
Definitely, ma'am.
organization. My all support to you, all my blessings to you. and hope this reaches out to the needy people. And
Yeah,
my pleasure to help you
definitely,
out.
ma'am.
And special thanks to Sanjana also.
Yeah,
So yeah, thank you
yeah,
so
yeah.
much. Yes, God bless you
Thank
all.
you, ma'am. Yeah, yeah. And a big thank you to all the viewers also for like making this event a success. I know like there were a few technical glitches, but still thank you for sticking with us. And I guess you have got all your doubts clarified. So thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
ma'am. Yeah,
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 bye bye.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Bye, ma'am. Have a
Bye.
nice day.
Yeah.
Bye, bye, bye.